All right, it's time for another weekly Squardle. This is, if you're not familiar with Squardle, it's like Wordle. On a grid, we're guessing a row and a column at the same time, and we move to the next row and column after each guess. And this is weekly Squardle number 52. This 8 here is how many guesses we have remaining, and if we complete a word and get all 5 of the green letters, then we get a bonus guess. Now, last week I asked for suggestions for starting words for the weekly Squardle, and someone, one of my members in fact, suggested just start with solve and see what I can do from there with a one-word start, which I thought was a neat idea. And by the way, I mentioned the memberships the other day. Again, I don't mention them often enough. And 3 more people joined. So thank you very much to Rise to the Equation, Purple Sidewalk 1, and Alaskan Gopher. Thank you for becoming members. Join button under the video if you would like to become a member as well. So, and of course, thank you to Kenny for the suggestion. So we're gonna start with solve. See what we can do. All right, we got an E. Very nice, good start. No O's though, which is interesting. Now from here, I mean, we don't really have any information about the second row or column. We know there's a V somewhere in the grid, and it's not in the first or the 4th row. So, I mean, it could be good to do a V right here potentially, because that would check this, it would be, you know, both spots of course. And so it would check the 2nd and 3rd row and column as well. So we would kind of, you know, hone in on the V. V could be good to locate because it's a less common letter. So if we know where the V is, then, you know, I feel like there's not gonna be as many possible words once we find the V. So that could be good. Let's do something with a V there. And then maybe just new letters after that. We don't have much. We could do something like AVE, something AV, like, you know, waves or waved or raved. Raved is pretty good. So R, A, and D are new letters. E is good to check. We've already checked E for the 1st and last row and column. This will check the 2nd and 4th row and column. So we'll basically find where all the E's are pretty much, I think. So that's pretty good. Let's go with that. Wow, no way. You know what's funny? I almost did. In my head, I thought, should I do raven instead of raved? Now this could also be raves or raver, but oh wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Interesting. So the 3rd row and column, we still don't know much about this. We do have the V here. So we have now found probably all of the V's, unless there's a V here, here, which there's not gonna be. So unless there's a V right there, no, not right there, right here, or down here in the corner, which is very unlikely to end in a V. So I think we probably found all the V's. But, interesting, so knowing this is a V, what can come before a V? Could you possibly have a consonant before a V? Probably, but I'm not thinking of what that would be. I think it almost has to be a vowel, right? And so it can't be an O, obviously. Now we could do an E, we could do something like every. Every is possible. But we know there's not an E up here. So I don't really want to guess an E first right now, even though that could be an E. A is probably better. Avian. Avian isn't terrible. That would also, you know, potentially see if the N could be here for raven. You know, we might rule out the N at least. And N is a good letter to check for anyways. This checks, you know, double A's, but since we don't have O, that's not too bad. Let's go for that. Let's go for avian. Okay, now what I should have done, that was not very smart, actually. I should not have done a V. I should have done something without a V, because we already had the V here and we knew that wasn't a V. but that's all right. So I am thinking Raven, because we do have the orange N there, and we did get an A here, so that was good. Now, we know there's an L. It's not the first letter. It could be second or, yeah, I guess it could be second or fourth either way, couldn't it? Whale would be interesting because we have the WR. Now, up here, we can't have an A, we can't have an E, we can't have an O. It's gotta be an I or a U. We could do wrist. Wrist would be good there. And then I'm thinking E here with the orange one. Could be third. But what if we did... Okay, so this is interesting. We have AV, right? It's not AVI. AV what? It almost has to be a vowel, doesn't it? Could this possibly be a consonant after the V? Probably, but I'm not thinking of anything that works with a consonant. So, and if it's a vowel, it can't be an A or an I or an O, so it has to be an E or a U. Avert. Avert is good. Do we know anything about, we haven't guessed T yet. R, we just have the R up here, so avert would be good. What would be, we need to have an N, so inert, sorry. However you wanna pronounce that. What's this gonna be? Hands? I don't know. Is hance a word? Enhance is a word. Is hance a word like that? Not sure. I mean, that would work with the SCR over here. We could do scree and enter. Ooh, what's this gonna be? Yeah, I'm not liking these two. All right, let's get rid of some of those. I'm not so sure about some of that. Well, we think the E has to go there. I like inert. Maybe, is whale not right? Because I didn't really like hance either. It's not necessarily wrist. I was thinking L here, so, I mean, that would have to be whale, right? What else could this be? The L could also be up here. Actually, if we put the L there, we could do lance. Lance is good. But then, this isn't gonna be wrist. What about brisk and blade? Still thinking scree. Yeah, that doesn't work either. All right, well, I still like inert and avert and lance. But maybe not scree. We do need an S in here though, somewhere. It'll be at the end there. I mean, something like that, bris and blade, but what if this was inept instead of inert? And then, but that doesn't really, oh, yeah. Let's go back to the L. We do E. No, oh, that doesn't work though. I was gonna do leper, and then if we went back to wrist, you could have tetra, but entia is not a thing. So the question is, I mean, we're on this fourth row and column. That's what we need to guess, but I mean, I like scree there, but I just don't know. I think avert is really good. So I think that has to be an R, and if it's an E, I like inept here. We've got the inept or inert, either one. And if we guess scree, that would check for the R right there, for inert versus inept. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for scree. Yes! Yes, it's scree and it's gonna be inept. Oh, teepee? Teepee. Plate, maybe? And... prism. You gotta pronounce the S like a Z, and then meter and enter. There we go. All right, so we've got all of them. Now we've just got to, yeah, what do we wanna do here? If I do the, because I could do meter, right? And we'd get that last column, but then we're not gonna have this N, and the only way to get the N is to then do raven or enter. Whereas we can get the M and the E from rows, potentially. I'm gonna do enter, okay? And then I think we're probably gonna have to just do, and then, yeah, and so now if we just do, we can do, right, if we do rows, we'll have to do 4 of them. If we do columns, we'll have to do 3. So let's do plate. I don't think there's any way to do, I mean, we could do the I, but then we've got to do inept anyways, so let's just do plate. And, oh, no, oh, now we're on this, oh, we can't jump to the column though. Oh, that's annoying. That's annoying. All right, well, we'll do Lance, that's fine. And now we can do inept, right, because it sends you to the second one since, okay. And then we can end with a little bit of magic, and there we go. All right, well, 7 remaining at the end. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. Man, raved. Oh, and I even, like I said, I even thought, in my head I was like, I wrote in raved and I thought, should I do raven? Ah, we'll just do raved. Oh, if I'd done raven, that would have been really good. But, anyways, pretty interesting. Prism, lance, avert, TP, enter, plate, raven, inept, scree, and meter. So, you know, a couple of interesting words in there, nothing too crazy. The V was interesting, because you just don't see it as often, obviously. But there you go, that was my weekly Squardle solve. So let me know how this one went for you and which word you had the hardest time with and how many guesses you had left at the end. And be sure to like and subscribe and maybe consider joining and becoming a member. And I'll see you again soon with some more puzzles.
The next inning, he was on deck when the manager informed him he had just been traded to the Montreal Expos. Now, the Expos had a game later that evening.
Replacement. I was just thinking about words that could end with M-E-N-T. Oh, it's not shall. So one of the L's has to be the lie. So feel or feeling, I think feeling, because I think it's gonna be develop, or maybe develops with the S there.